speaking, Clarksburg City Council meeting.
Councilmember Dean.
Here.
Councilmember Hyman. Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Moore.
Here.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Here.
And Mayor Maffitt. This evening we have our prayer pledge. Councilmember Hyman.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask you for your wisdom as we begin this meeting, as we acknowledge we need your wisdom and insights, and we welcome your presence among us. Please guide us in our discussions and decisions, helping us to seek what is best. In God's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes of the regular session of May 1.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Beth Gaines wishes to address council concerning funding for the Clarksburg History Museum.
I didn't expect it that quickly, sorry. We just got back in town. We had a family emergency, so I'm a little underprepared, but I had Ryan pass out some quick stats on the museum you might take interest in. I just want to think you all are aware of the cuts to the AmeriCorps program, which was a program that helped the museum keep regular hours, and I was participating in that program. I'm a little old for that program, but there were benefits for me that helped with student loans and also benefited the museum. That was cut on April 30th. And since that time, the loss was kind of immediately felt. We weren't sure what to do, so we started fundraising and telling everyone we knew, and the communities responded and is continuing to respond to help find funds for a small stipend for me to stay in my projects that I was doing as AmeriCorps, and some of those stats reflect those projects as well. We have been growing a lot. I wasn't at the beginning of the founding of the museum, but all of these great folks were, and they let me come alongside in 2024. I had been laid off from my marketing job at a software company, and Mike had continually over the years asked, please help us with marketing for the museum, and I was like, I can't. I have this job. It's annoying. And when I was laid off in job hunting, I asked Mike, can I come and work and do marketing work? I'm going to need a desk. And the rest is history. And I love what I do there. I love history so much. It's part of my life. So I thought this is a great way to be passionate about something that I love and something I don't have to study too hard for. I want to just quickly go over those projects that are on the sheet. Some of them I'll talk about. Some of them are different. I will continue managing the museum's digital marketing and website, promoting our events and online presence. I help with receiving, catalog, and preserving new artifacts. I help another volunteer produce a podcast where she records oral history stories called Around and About the Clarksburg History Museum. I will be continuing to support our historic tours, which is a branch of education. We've got another tour coming up Friday, June 6th. It's a historic walking tour. This will be the first one I've led. I will be supporting our field trips, opening times for special events. Like we're open late for Friday nights or First Fridays. We've got 2 publications coming. One is for children called the Learning Tree, Clarksburg's History from A to Z, and another publication called The Keepsake, which I've shared a picture of, where we're going to collect kind of unknown stories and just some great reflections of Clarksburg history for members and send that publication out at the end of every year. And also growing our membership base. And we've also been collaborating with the Harrison County Historical Society, and I'm going to continue to be doing that as well. I think I covered the big picture. If you ever have any questions, just feel free to ask. And I think Mike's next.
Michael Spatafor.
Thank you.
I just want to thank Tiffany and all the city council members and city clerk for your support in the past and presently. The museum has taken off more than I could have imagined. When I first started thinking about a museum in the early 2000s, I can't remember how far back that was. And I was repeatedly told, that's never going to happen. There's just, too much politics, and it'll never work out. People don't want to come to Clarksburg. We don't have visitors, tourists, any of that kind of stuff. So with this group here and all of the board members, the museum board members, and all the volunteers that we have, I mean, they put in so much time, energy, and money just from themselves. It's amazing. And Beth's done a great job. We had Marcia was our AmeriCorps person before Beth, and she really got things started, a lot of good projects started. And Beth, with her marketing, she's just gone above and beyond, and she works probably 50, 60 hours a week, and for not that much money. But we were kind of devastated when we heard about the funding cuts for AmeriCorps, and we kind of went into panic mode for a few days. And then, Beth said, with her computer skills and all that, she called and she said, do you mind if I put something online where, people can just donate, the community can just donate. It's kind of like a GoFundMe, but it's not GoFundMe. I said, I mean, anything, we'll try anything to help us survive. And proud to say that the community support has been overwhelming, and we reached our goal of $3,250. And, it's just amazing. We had one lady that came in on a Saturday morning when I was at the museum, and she offered to pay 2 months' salary for Beth. So a lady came up to me last First Fridays, and she wrote me a check for $200. So the support from the community has been overwhelming, and my goddaughter at the spaghetti dinner over at St. James, she was shaking down people for money, so she got over $200 just from the people at the spaghetti dinner. So everyone's really taken part. A lot of the board members have donated money because we realize, we want to be open full time. And the only way to do that is get more volunteers or, give someone a little stipend. So I guess I'm just here to thank you for everything you've done in the past and ask for your continued support. We'll do everything that we can to promote Clarksburg, promote the museum. We're working hand in hand with the Harrison County Historical Society. So I think bigger and better things are going to come out of that if we're working together, because we're promoting the same things. So the more people we have doing that, the better off it's going to be.
Mike,
Yes.
tell them the other things that she's involved with, her CDB, First Fridays, the Italian Festival.
Beth is late. She's basically her own visitor center. I mean, she's like a one-woman visitor center. And she is involved with, she's helping with the CVB, the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival, other fairs and festivals in the city, First Fridays. She's been a big help. I know we tried to get, some help with, a person to help us with First Fridays, and that didn't work out. But she does a lot of stuff for us that keeps us going. She keeps us focused in on what needs to be done. But we're willing to do whatever we can to help the city grow. We bring in visitors and tourists. They visit our downtown restaurants and businesses, and people love it. They love Clarksburg, and I'm working on the county commission now to try to get some funding. But for anyone that doesn't think that we have visitors or tourists, we do every day. And they've come from all around the country and from different countries around the world. So just appreciate any help that you can give, and we're willing to step up and help in any way promoting our city. I want to thank Jerry for the fundraiser with the flags, and we're selling T-shirts and sweatshirts too.
Tell them the other fundraisers. Tell them the future fundraisers.
Our future fundraiser in October is Taste of Harrison, and that'll be at Jackson Square.
Thank you.
October 11th. Thank you.
Shannon Welch wishes to address council concerning our House of Delegates run in 2026.
Hey guys, this is to everyone here, but also back here too. If you don't know me already, my name is Shannon Welsh. I am running for House of Delegates in 2026. I jumped in last year, and within a single month, I raised the same amount of money that a typical candidate makes in about 2 years worth. I only lost by 700 votes, and I only had a month to prepare. My 2026 campaign, I am much more active. I'm ready to make things work. If I were to get elected to the position, I would be the third youngest female ever serving in the West Virginia House of Delegates. So I'm really looking forward to that opportunity to bring in youth to our government, how it works. So as far as the voters go, District 70 is the district I represent. For the House of Delegates, there are 4 districts within Harrison County. District 70 is one of those. The other 3 are primarily Shinston is one. We've got another delegate running out near the Lake Floyd area, Jocelyn Blackwell, and then the 4th one's Bridgeport. So those are our districts for Harrison County. That's what makes up the laws that and the funding type of things that affect AmeriCorps workers that I won't say the salary, that I just heard, but look up the AmeriCorps salary. It's not a lot. So awesome that you guys are out here. I encourage use of government. My degree in undergraduates in political science. I want government to work well. I want to be a person to be your guys' resource and get things from Clarksburg up to the state level in an effective and efficient way. So just here to get the face out there. I'm running. May is the primaries. I will have a competitor in the primaries, most likely. And then if I make it past the primaries, the general elections in November of 2026. So I would love to talk to you all more, get to learn your questions, your concerns, and how I can help bring those forward at a state level, hopefully. So Shannon Welsh, House of Delegates, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfinished business, consideration of second and final reading and public hearing of an ordinance in order determining the necessity for continuance of levies for the fiscal years beginning July 1, 2026, July 1, 2027, July 1, 2028, July 1, 2029, and July 1, 2030 for improvements, maintenance, repairs, equipment, vehicles, and capital projects for public parks, playgrounds, and facilities operated by the City of Clarksburg Board of Park Commissioners, for improvements, maintenance, paving, and repairs to streets, alleys, sidewalks, and bridges, and for the purchase of various vehicles and equipment for the police and fire departments, and providing for submission to the voters within the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia, the question of continuance of the levy at the election to be held on the 12th day of May 2026, and providing for the holding and determination of such election. Notices regarding the public hearing appeared in the Exponent Telegram on May 6th and May 13th.
We will now open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time. We will close the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance for the continuance of the levies beginning in the fiscal year July 1 of 2026 and through including the years of July 1, 2030 as titled.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
New business, consideration of a memorandum of understanding by and between First Choice Services and the Clarksburg Police Department.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Consideration of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Clarksburg naming the unnamed alley between North Florence Street and Penicunik Street as Cooper Way.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
out of respect for the individuals who showed up in support of it, as well as in respect for his daughter, in honor of John, I would like to read the resolution aloud.
Absolutely.
Resolution of the City Council of City of Clarksburg naming the unnamed alley between North Florence Street and Penicunik Street as Cooper Way. Whereas the above captioned unnamed alley between being 16 feet in width, identified on tax map 22, running parallel with the North Florence Street and being approximately 455 feet in length. And whereas to more efficiently and effectively identify and locate the above referenced alley, City of Clarksburg believes it is the best interest to give a name thereto. And whereas upon review of said area, it is determined that the naming of said alley will not adversely affect any properties or addresses thereat. And whereas providing the named alley and location thereof to the city's emergency services departments and the Harrison County Bureau of Emergency Services will allow for the geographic location in which to better identify said location. And whereas John H. Cooper Jr. was a lifelong resident of Clarksburg and a more particularly the Montpelier community. And whereas having a 42-plus year career with the city of Clarksburg, John retired as superintendent of the Board of Park Commissioners. And whereas during his tenure, John was instrumental in many of the park projects such as the aquatic park, the amphitheater, the Frank Loria baseball field, and indoor baseball facility, and the mini golf course, to name a few. And whereas in honor and recognition of John H. Cooper Jr.'s lifetime service and dedication to the city of Clarksburg and the familial attachments to the Montpelier area, council believes that it is fitting to name said alley, and now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of City of Clarksburg, West Virginia hereby names the above referenced alley as Cooper Way per the information set forth herein above.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a one-time grant to the Clarksburg History Museum in the amount of $10,000.
Mayor, I move that we award the Clarksburg History Museum a one-time grant of $10,000. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of a resolution of the City of Clarksburg, West Virginia regarding the hiring of a social worker or similar employee utilizing opioid funds in an amount not to exceed $53,652.86.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of the purchase of 6 RIT packs and carrying bags for the fire department in the amount of $52,541 from Johnson's Fire Equipment Company utilizing FEMA AFG funds.
I move for the purchase of 6 RIT packs for $52,541 from Johnson's Fire Equipment Company utilizing the FEMA AFG funds.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Council comments?
Do we want to call on Martin first? Let's call on Councilman Will down there.
Thanks, Mayor. Some really great stuff on the agenda tonight. Really great to name that alley after Mr. Cooper. Great Clarksburg. Did a lot of great things for the city, our park system. Glad to see some money head to the History Museum to help them out in their time of need. And finally get a social worker working with the police department and some duly needed equipment for the fire department. Other than that, have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mr. Conlon. Mr. Ward?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would say this is probably one of the best agendas I've seen in my 3.5 years up here.
Here, here.
Really, I mean, every part about this agenda is fantastic. First want to, talk about the Clarksburg History Museum and how important it was for us to give them $10,000. And maybe that may not seem a lot to you, but for someone like myself that travels the state of West Virginia, every county a lot, and I've interviewed probably over 130 different historians in a little over 45 counties on the history. One of those historians is sitting right here in the gallery. And it's, to bring history alive not only brings joy to people in the community, but it brings a sense of pride that you could pass on through generations. Our state here in West Virginia, we were born out of the Civil War, and the Civil War was probably one of the most important turning points of our country. And we have a historian here, Richard Wolff, who is, who is probably the best Civil War historian I've ever met. The guy's a human encyclopedia on something that important, not only to our state, but to our country. And so to support our history like this, is supporting generations ahead of us that are always going to remember, what Clarksburg was and what Clarksburg will be. And I think that brings pride, that brings family, and that brings joy to what it means to be joyful living in the community. So I think that's really, that was a really important thing that we did. The other important thing, was the social worker, embedded in the police department. I think that's paramount, Got a call today. There was a situation out there in Edgewood where, sheriff's department, we was trying to find somebody some help, but we just didn't have someone out there that would be able to go out there and help them get a resource. This is gonna help us do that. It's gonna help the police department. If they got a situation where there's a mental health crisis or a substance abuse crisis, and it's something that they feel like that this person could get treated for instead of incarcerated. I think we give an opportunity to help that person, but two, we save the taxpayer on the regional jail bill. That's pretty significant. And this position right here is going to be indeed a public service. And the thing is, it doesn't cost the city of Clarksburg anything because it comes straight from the opioid fund. So that's another great thing. And then probably one of the most important things I think that we passed tonight, was the resolution to name, North Florence Street, or the alley between North Florence Street, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Cooper Way.
Everybody's
Pinnaconnick.
There you go.
I mean, you have to think 42 years, devoting 42 years to probably, for a city our size, and believe me, I've been to just about every municipality in the state of West Virginia. For a city our size, we probably have the best park system in the state of West Virginia. I mean, you look at the splash zone, the amphitheater, we have like 12 other parks across our city. I mean, we have a fantastic park board, led by, Johnny and Julie. There's, in a lot, in Cooper's legacy, that's going to live on. And matter of fact, we should be naming a street after him, not just an alley, but maybe we could do that later on sometime. So, but I think this is really nice that, we definitely named that alley, because what a legend, in that sense. And I'm glad that we got the 6 grip packs, for the fire department. I was reading through your letter, and that's really important because, if you're inside a building and you have a respirator machine, you got to have emergency backup to where you could communicate with folks and, to definitely, help our firefighters. I mean, our firefighters sometimes, go into buildings where it could be life or death, and having that added communication piece, that could definitely save a life. So other than that, I appreciate everybody's time coming up here. Appreciate the History Museum and all your comments. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Howe?
Yes. Tiffany, just a reminder, if you could get that list together with the opioids, with all the applicants and ones denied, it would be very helpful for it. I appreciate that. And then also thank you, Tiffany, for the follow-up for the code issue that I sent to you, I think a couple weeks ago over in Glenelg. If you can just provide another update to that, you can send it by email. I'll refresh your memory later. Which one it was. But yeah, so if you just send another email, it'd be greatly appreciated. Let's see. And then also, I do want to thank Tiffany as well. I don't know if anybody's watched the county commission meeting or seen what happened over the last meetings, but our city manager did request coverage for animal control with the county. And, when our animal control is off, vehicles down, we don't have animal control or access to it. And what she was trying to do and attempt to do was to get the county to cover us, sort of through an MOU. And it should be free of charge. They do service 6 other municipalities in our county, as well as out in the county that the other municipalities don't cover. So I do commend you on that. I hope they continue to look at that, to offer that service free of charge as they do all the other municipalities. So please keep on that, and I fully support that as well. And I think by legislative code, I think you are correct. I think they're deemed to do so. So if we no longer have animal control, or the animal control is now shifted to code enforcement, we're going to be without animal control, and it's up to the county 100% to provide that service. So I think they need to be cognitive of that. In actuality, I think you mentioned it too. We are doing them the favor of operating animal control with our cost, and their county levy that our citizens also fully support and vote on, and overwhelmingly, I think out of the county, carries animal control for the county, which is included in that levy. So I really hope they go back, reconsider that, and look to service all the citizens of the county equally, including our citizens who do support the levy. So thank you. Also, we had a great pleasure today. The city manager joined me on a tour of Nardella Properties. He took not a condemned, probably should have been condemned, of a very ran down building, 2 buildings behind the central fire station. I've done an immense amount of work in there over the last 16 months to 2 years. I had the opportunity to visit that property probably about 16 months ago, and it was not in deplorable shape as much then as it was prior to. He already started cleaning it out, doing some renovations on that. So again, I want to commend him on that as well. Whatever we can do as a city, I think we need to award all the people making the investments into the properties within the central business district. Kim's here; she's done a wonderful job on hers. And I think that's what's needed. We just need to do whatever we can to assist. I think that's about it. But then again, I'm happy the resolution passed in honor of John Cooper. Lindsay, I'm glad you're here tonight. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's such an honor for me as well to work with John for 15 years and really got to become friends with John, not only professionally, but personally. And, John and I had a lot of good conversations, a lot of bad conversations, a lot of indifferent conversations. But at the end of the day, I always did consider him a friend. As we grew, we got to know each other more. So, definitely as a whole. So I definitely appreciate it. I know this isn't everything to replace him, but thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Deans?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, City Manager Fell, thank you for directing code to take care of the issue in Northview I mentioned about a week ago.
I took a ride around last week.
Great. I drove around last night and I saw that things looked better, so thank you. And I don't know if I said it last time, but I really think that it's great that you're out in the community with code, and I've heard really positive things about that from the citizens. They're really excited that you're doing that, so thank you for doing that. Also, Public Works, I noticed the flowers in the basket last night. I think any kind of simple beautification we can do helps our community, builds that pride that Councilman Worth has talked about. So thank you. Mike, Beth, I've said it before, I'll say it again. One of the best things that has happened to downtown in a while is the Clarksburg History Museum. So thank you for your work. I love history, and anytime I plan a trip, I'm always looking for free museums to go to, and so I'm probably someone's 1,400 visitors in some obscure little town museum, and that kind of stuff's important. Shannon, good luck. I know that race well. Good luck. So just remind people, we need people who work for us and are going to do things that help our city. Really happy that we renamed the alley Cooper Way. Thank you to the park board members that are here, just in general for your work. We're headed to summer. It's great to see people in the park. Been visiting the pickleball courts a lot lately. And we do have one of the best park systems in the state. So keep up your work, and I'm glad that we could honor Mr. Cooper. After the last council meeting, I went the next day and visited the Gore 4. And if you haven't been there, it's a beautiful building, great establishment, and I encourage everyone to be there. Just like Councilman Howe said, we need to do whatever we can to support our downtown business owners. I think one positive thing that's happened in the month of May, along with the social work in our last meeting, we're getting opioid funds out into the community. I think we don't want to fund things frivolously, but it's great that we're getting the money out into the community where it needs to be, so we can put it to good use. So I'm glad that we're moving on that. Hope everyone has a great weekend and a great Memorial Day coming up.
I would like to say it's an honor to vote for John Cooper's way. I've known John Cooper for many, many years, so that was an honor. Basically, I would like to say, we're headed in the right direction. We're putting a lot of good things in. The memorandum of understanding for the work with First Choice Services is just another cog in the wheel to the social work. And, we have the new rehab center right outside of town. And now, we're creating a path for individuals who want that help, who need that help, to be able to get that help. Folks who are right here and don't know how to get it. And now we're putting these things in place so these individuals are able to get that help that they want and that they need. It's just, I'm excited to watch the good things that are going on. Watching the road work is still going on throughout town. It's not always so exciting, and you have to sit there in traffic though some days. But you know what? At the end of this, when we're sitting and we're riding on nice smooth roads, then it'll be great. I would also like to say congratulations to our colleague Councilman Worth, who was selected as the Chamber of Commerce Man of the Year, if I'm not mistaken.
Not man of the year, citizen.
Citizen of the Year? Okay, Citizen of the Year. But congratulations to you on that. And, with that, I would just like to say, and as someone brought up the Gore 4, they are actually, I believe, the open house this weekend, Sunday. So, some more things going on. So, let's support these businesses. Let's get out there. Let's get out here in the community. That's what it's all about. With that, I'd just like to say thank you all, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Vice Mayor?
I always tell myself I'm going to write my notes down. Probably better than I should. A lot of great things. As Councilman Worth said, this is a great meeting. We've had some rough meetings. This has been a great meeting. A lot of good things. The History Museum, and Beth, you can tell the day you started at the Facebook page, because I was like, who is doing this artwork, this marketing? I'm like I was like, Mike is not doing it. There's no way. So I think I called Mike. I said, who's doing these posts now? They're great. Mike knows it. He gets it. So
Call him out in front of the
so the History Museum, one thing, when you have a group like that in the community, you do whatever you can to support it and you get out of the way. Every dollar that we've spent, you can see it. Every dollar we've given to the History Museum, you can see it. That doesn't always work in this government. Sometimes money is put places you don't see it, but when you guys, with a group of dedicated people like you that love and passionate about what you do, you can see every single dollar. So I'm happy to keep supporting it. I know council's they've always supported it from day one. And we're going to keep doing that. And you guys are doing great things. So we're going to do what we can to help you keep doing those things. Cooper Way. Remember the first night I met John? Yeah. He was my mom's neighbor, and he wasn't just a neighbor that would come over and talk. He would bring something with him. I won't say what it is, but it's like, John, come over and like, and you know, it'd be a fun evening. And I mean, he was a good neighbor. He wasn't my neighbor, but I mean, I started calling him neighbor. But you know, he was a passionate, dedicated person to parks. You can see it at every single park in the city. You know, had great meetings. When I got on council, I'd show up in his office all the time. I haven't messed with Doug that much. I messed with him here, you know, giving you know, a lot of calls here recently, but like I would just show up in his office. I mean, he didn't care, but we just had great conversations. I mean, they would go for hours sometimes because, you know, when two people are passionate about something, it's just the way it works. So, you know, it's an honor to name that alley after him. It's my sister actually drove her car. Well, she was like 8 years old. She sat on my mom's lap. Maybe she wasn't supposed to do that, but she drove up that alley right there. I'm like, this is the road that we choose to let her sit behind the wheels for the first time. They did it anyways, but so yeah, it's an honor to do that. You know, I like to maybe name all of Norwood Park after Cooper. I think that would be fitting. I'll put that out there. Anybody wants to, you know, chase that, because you can see his imprint all over that park, all the parks. So it's an honor to do that. And I think when we do that, we do it right. When we go name that street, I think we do it right, like I he would want. I'll bring something. But I think we should do it as, you know, as he would expect and as he deserves. So looking forward to that. Yeah, that's it.
You done?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. See something, say something, folks. Can't help you if you don't pick up the phone and dial 911. Flowers look good. Memorial banners are up, so the Memorial Day banners are up. So that's a plus. The city's starting to look good. Cooper, what can I say about Cooper? I knew him when he was playing basketball at Notre Dame, and when I was on council as a councilman, I used to spend time in his office and we'd talk, and when your mom had been to our house for a couple parties, and so we loved Coop, and he's gone way too soon. I love naming the street. You know, I've brought up in the past, I think we ought to name the amphitheater after John, not just the stage, I think the amphitheater personally, but that's for another day. I'd like to say goodbye to Logan. Tonight's his last meeting with us. He's taking another job, so best of luck to you, sir. Everybody, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for coming out. History Museum, we've got your back all the time, you know it, so. You know, thanks for the fire department, good luck with the air packs, and everybody have a nice weekend.
Move to adjourn.
Sorry.
Wow, that was quick. We're done.